This episode of the We Like Shooting Show is brought to you by Faxon Firearms, Polymer 80, Patriot Patch Company, the Sonoran Desert Institute, and Brownells.
Welcome to the We Like Shooting Show, episode 347. Tonight we're going to talk about 1911 Grips, Recover Tactical, Sig Sauer Electro Optics, Atlas Defense, and more. Our panel tonight is Jeremy Posderick from River's Edge Tactical in Valley City, Ohio. We have Savage Winnar checking in from Communist Washington. Aaron Krieger checking in from Communist Michigan.
What?
Yeah, it's true. Nick Lynch is dead again. So sad, too bad. And my name is Sean. Welcome to the show. Yeah, Nick's dead. This is Nick.
Wait. I was going to go back to Communist Michigan. We're not commies here.
Oh,
yes,
dude.
am I like the only one?
You kind of are.
Yeah, dude, check. Your governor is basically a communist.
Well, it doesn't make the rest of us. We're just trapped here.
Wow. John M. is chatting a lot. It's the same message just over and over again. Aaron, what did you do to his wife?
I don't know. I don't think this gentleman likes me.
I don't think so. I will honestly say that every Instagram, Facebook post, and YouTube video, that's been his comment lately.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
like the new fish.
I mean, I guess. All right. This guy thinks about me a lot, which I'm okay with.
He does. You've got permanent rent paid in his brain.
Oh, apparently.
Oh man! All right, let's do an ad read. I'm going to talk about Polymer 80 because I was actually messing with some Polymer 80 stuff today. We posted one on our Instagram, which is one of my favorites. Aaron, did you see that?
Yes, it looked great.
What color is it?
Black.
You f***ing liar.
Well, I don't know, dude. You asked me a question while I'm trying to read stuff.
It's FDE. Aaron, engage in the show. What are you trying to read?
So I got these stuff for Gear Chat, and I'm trying to remember if they're wood or if they're 3D printed.
Wood.
Aaron, before the show, was like...
I'm digging the Polymer 80 stuff, and I'm really liking that they're putting a serialized product out.
Yeah, they've got the serialized products. Those are awesome. Did you see the buy, build, shoot, which is just basically everything in the box?
I did. I'm kind of interested to see what the dealer price is. What the MSRP is like $575.
Yeah, I think with our coupon code, it's right at 500 right under 500.
Oh,
so yeah,
well, that's a good deal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's like cheaper than a Glock, and I like Polymer 80s better actually. So
wait, does it come with a magazine too?
Yeah, it does.
That's a good deal. Those guys are always innovating. I always like their stuff.
Yeah.
I actually got my first P80 frame set. I got a wolf gray and then a green 26. So I'm gonna try and do the next couple weeks if I find some time.
Very nice. Yeah, I like their stuff a lot. Aaron, by the way, it was FDE.
What?
It was FDE.
What was?
My Polymer 80.
The 3 conversations ago.
Polymer80.com, coupon code WLS is life, saves you 15% off all day, every day. And, honestly, I think they're going to be one of the first companies to support Aaron's stroke GoFundMe. So.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, for when you have a stroke.
Who?
Yeah. Aaron, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just messing around.
All right, our guest,
dude.
What?
I'm on Facebook and I was looking up this guy who's telling me that he hates me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at pictures of him, and I did wife. Sorry, dude.
Savage for real.
Oh, it happened, bro.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
All right, that was pretty good, Aaron.
Thanks, man. That was awesome.
All right, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight. He's the owner of Mo Guns, Atlas Defense. He's been on the show. It's been a while, 3 years. His name is Joe Mo. Welcome to the show, Joe.
What's up, guys? Cheers.
What you got? I got some whiskey.
Wait, I got brown beer. I don't know if you can read the cup, though. Wait, I got to figure out the... Can you read it?
I see sarcasm, insults, inappropriate. My friendship comes with benefits. Or no, comes in 3 levels. All right. So sarcasm, insults, and inappropriate sexual humor. Okay.
Humor.
That's pretty
I
awesome.
figure out the whole left. I don't do the selfie thing, so I'm trying to work that through that.
So it's all backwards, right? So Aaron, real quick, point at me.
Oh, you?
Yeah. You
Who did?
You did. You got confused for a minute.
No, I got it. First try.
You did. But it looked a little sketchy. I'm not
It
going
is
to lie.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. This is too much selfiness.
It is. It's so crazy. Joe, what's up, man? How's everything?
Pretty good. We're doing great. So the Corona thing is kind of an interesting read on things.
Yeah.
You know that saying where the smaller the kingdom, the bigger the tyrant?
Yes.
Man, that's starting. That's really showing the colors of a lot of these mayors and even some of the pastors and things where they've lost their mind.
A lot of the Chads and Karens out there too.
Yeah.
The reporting your neighbor junk. I mean, just like out of control. What's so Joe, you're in Louisiana.
We are. Yep.
What's going on down there? Like, are you guys stay-at-home orders? Is everyone in the hospitals in critical care? Is everyone dead? Like, what's going on?
Well, apparently we're extended to the 15th of next month for a stay-at-home order. Of course, we are an essential business. We were
God right you are.
well, I mean, as far as the Second Amendment type stuff, there's that exclusive or included part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're also a contractor for defense products and things like that for the local popos, the state, things like that. So I mean, we never really had an issue or a worry with that. We just had to kind of figure out and read what is legitimately going on and try and make the best decision. I think we've done fairly well with that. We've stayed up and running. We've been doing temperature checks. If anybody has a temperature, they go home for 5 days.
Is it awkward because it's rectal?
We don't do rectal. We're doing, we're using a pet style now.
Okay.
We actually needed some thermometers at the shop, and you couldn't get them anywhere.
Yeah.
We ended up with meat thermometers. So we got like a bunch of meat thermometers running around the shop.
Would you just stab somebody?
Just clunk.
See one in your arm? I just used the first one for actually checking meat. 4 days ago, so I was grilling some chicken.
I hope you cleaned it.
That's nuts, man.
Just trying to take as much precautions. We've reduced our showroom. We got about a 2,200 square foot showroom. Normally we've got about 500 guns or so, a bunch of holsters, a big showroom that you can walk around in. We've got it stopped off to about a 6 by 8 foot foyer with a rollout cabinet with basically the stuff that I know people are coming in to buy right now. So it's actually worked out. It's really efficient. Kind of allows us to spread all the inventory so we can get to it fast, bring it up to the customer and check them out. We got our suppressor kiosk and our fingerprint machine, and we can do all that right there at the door too. So we're making it work. Apparently, Louisiana is one of the more hard hit because it made its way over here during Mardi Gras, and Mardi Gras, of course, is a huge tourist and very drunken debauchery. Everybody in your face, climbing around, coughing on you, and so apparently it kind of factored on a heavy hit for New Orleans. But it's on the ground as far as the sickness, we haven't seen a whole lot of that. Some friends that are in the nursing industry, they're seeing kind of some crazy things and some crazy symptoms. And most of them are the at-risk people, but there are some people that aren't at the at-risk level that's having some weird things happening. Outside of that, general everyday life is just different now. I had to go to a speakeasy barbershop today.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't know if you'd get like the cops called on you by a Karen or something.
I don't know. I mean, they can't. They're not going to. Do you have no proof that I got a haircut?
No. Very.
So apparently, Louisiana, we actually have I think it's a barber's commission here. But if you cut hair, you have to be a legit barber, and there's like some huge, crazy certifications you got to do for Louisiana. More certifications for barbers than like butchers and people that are working with food and dental hygienists, things like that. So there's this big board that they'd lose their license if they found out that they were like cutting hair off the book.
Which is horrible.
It really is. Like in Colorado, I think we have like you have to take a test or something, but I'm pretty sure the test is like, can you smoke 10 cigarettes in your 15-minute break? Okay, you're hired.
No, I mean, being a quote-unquote barber is, in most states, there's a board that you have to go through. It's because barbers used to be doctors, so it's reminiscent of that.
Bloodletting and
Right. How many leeches do you guys have?
rangers.
You got ghosts in your blood.
We should bleed you. You'll be fine. Well, sir, I'm already bleeding. More bleeding. I'm the doctor here.
What's funny is we actually have a licensed barber across the street at the shop at the used car dealership, rap studio, barber shop, car detail area, and I'm pretty sure it's like a non-prescription pharmacy.
That's wonderful.
But they've got a barber pole outside and everything. It's really funny.
Wait, this is all? It's all in one place, or is
All
it?
one building.
Oh, but different stores within the building, or is it just one store and they do all
No,
those
it's all
things?
one store. It's just in a kind of an a la carte. You just go from area to area. What's funny, it's actually the building that we used to lease for the production company that did the show, where they did all the like props and they had all the sound guys and where they stored all their stuff. Because as we grew, we just ran out of room for them to be in our building. So I'm like, y'all got to go. So we leased that building across the street, and then we grew again, and we leased another building down.
Jeez.
And then we kept growing, and I bought that big-ass building, like 3 buildings down from where we all were. But the building, the original production building, is where the barber shop / unlicensed pharmacist / detail / rap studio / used car dealership.
That's amazing.
That's all, yeah. It sounds like Walmart.
They're great neighbors.
That's cool. I mean, that's all that matters. I mean, serious entrepreneurial spirit. I guess that's a good thing. Are you saying rap studio?
Rap studio, yes.
That's amazing. So you get your car detailed and go drop, the hottest mixtape of 2020.
Totally could.
That's pretty epic. So, how's suppressor business going lately?
Suppressors have been real strong in 2020, especially early 2020. Now that kind of the COVID thing, people are dialing back a little bit, and they're putting their money more in like ammo and guns rather than a suppressor, which I think suppressors are somewhere you should kind of be looking right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a time frame for approval, but they are still approving. The NFA branch mostly works from home anyway, so they're continuing working. Actually, I think they're extended. A lot of them are doing 12 hours and even working weekends and holidays.
Wow, so crazy, man. Jeremy, what about you? You selling any suppressors lately, or is it?
I actually just got a tax stamp back the other day.
Nice.
You know what I mean, yeah.
How long did it take?
8 months.
See, that's not bad. I'm hearing good stuff.
That's on the higher side of what we have been seeing.
I got one that came back in 70 days.
We were getting them between 53 and 90 days.
For a while there.
That was Operation Fast Track or whatever, right?
Yeah.
No, this is after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Middle of September, they changed the forms.
Mm-hmm.
In early October, they went to a totally different form. So if you look at the bottom of that form, it's actually an E-form style, and they're cloud-based now. So they're pushing it all around in the cloud. So typically before that, the paperwork would come in, and somebody would read it, input it, do the thing, pass it to the next guy. That guy would read it, do the thing, pass it to the next guy, wait for the FBI to do their thing, bring it all back full circle, put stamp on it, and that would take time, movement, error checks. Now everything's cloud, so the first guy gets it, bloops it in with the card reader, scans it in, and now it pushes around on the cloud. So we were seeing 53 to 90 days up until probably about 6 weeks ago, and then it's been kind of slowing down. I don't believe we've not eclipsed 4 months yet on post-October approval or post-October stuff.
Oh, wow.
But I think it's going to slow down a little bit. But of course, we're still waiting on stuff that's 14 months old for some people.
That's crazy. Like I had a guy come in today and fill out a Form 4, and I was like, well, it's going to be any time between like now and 2 years. So
that's what Zach says. Like, yeah, we got a pretty good idea of somewhere between 60 days and 16 months. And the guy just kind of stares at him for a second and realizes what he said. And then we all kind of laugh about it.
So crazy. Jeremy, what kind of can did you get the stamp for today?
It was a cheap Rebel.
Okay, gotcha.
It was, yeah. And then the kid was like, well, I got my AR, but it's really long now. Do you have anything shorter? And I'm like, I just got in this Springfield Armory Saint Edge. And he's like, I'll take it. I was like, all right.
Wow. Did you make sure the handguard was bolted on?
No, I don't give a
That's for warranty issues.
Yeah,
exactly. Joe, you guys have been pushing cans pretty hard over the last couple of years. I mean, you've made them for a long time, right?
Yeah, we have. We've been making cans for going on 15 years. We've really transitioned to primary can manufacturer. We started pushing through it about 6 years ago. And I guess about 4 years ago, we've pretty much strictly done cans, about 90% of what we do. 70% we make our own cans, and about the other 30% of can manufacture we do for other people and other designs. So cans are definitely a large portion of what we do. The other side, we do other NFA items, and we do a bit of Title I stuff. Definitely doing a lot more Title I the last month or so than probably we did all the last year combined.
For those that don't know, what's Title I?
Title I is non-NFA stuff. So,
Gotcha.
Semi-auto, pistol.
The stuff you buy off Wish.
Yeah, 4473 over-the-counter stuff.
Perfect.
Gotcha.
So let's talk a little bit about cans. So we've got a couple cans in. I know Jeremy's got some cans at the shop. We've got a 22 can. We've got the 5.56 Saber, and then this is the 9mm Pilum. You guys kind of transitioned to what you just said, doing a lot more cans and stuff. And I think you put a lot more focus, like just into kind of what you were doing and where it was going. Are the cans now better than they were 5 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
What makes them?
Even our cans that we're making this year are better than our offerings last year. But since the beginning, or starting about 7, 8 years ago, we started working with a concept called future-proof technology, where the register section, the modularity of it is the serialized portion is not the core structure, is not the meat and potatoes of the performance, but it's the future-proof section that allows it to have registration. In the case of the Pilum that Sean's working with right now, it's the tube. It's a very early pioneering with our 22. The 22 is on its third generation core set, and it goes all the way back to the previous style can. Anybody that's purchased a can, one of our 22s in the last 8 years, can upgrade to our lightest, quietest, which by happen chance, it's actually the lightest 22 can on the market. The Pilum, our first introduction, we're on the Pilum 2 core. Anybody that's ever bought one of our tubes, our Pilums, can upgrade to the new Pilum 2. The Saber right here, it's a little modular, dedicated 5.56 can. The register section is about 2 inches, and it's towards the rear. It is X37 capable, so that's the dead air, the Plan B, the Plan A, the YHM, basically that universal style mount system. So you can put one of 9 different manufacturers' mounts on it, and then any one of our front-end core systems that we have now. So it's something that I wanted to do because I saw it really frustrating, people buying a can, and then the company releases a better one before they even get the tax stamp or just after the tax stamp, And now the can they just received as new, they literally just got it in their hands, like, oh, this is new. And there's something on the shelf that's cheaper, quieter, lighter, faster, all these whiz bangs. So that was the whole concept of the future-proof technology that we definitely pioneered, and it's been very successful for us, and it's allowed us to offer products with a lot more modularity and a lot faster to market. Because our Atlas, our 30 caliber can, it's the big body can. It's about 8 inches, real low tone. We actually have a new core for that. For everybody that purchased one of them in the first 18 months, they can upgrade to the Atlas 2 system now too.
I feel like cans are one of those things, like, you know, the snake oil salesmen of the past. There's so much of that going on out there. There's definitely some unscrupulous community members, I think, when it comes to cans and stuff like that. What are your thoughts there?
There is. I'm not a big fan of the numbers game, the dB metering. If you look at a dB scale, it's actually a weighted scale, and it's weighted to frequency as well as several other factors. So it's not like this nice straight line where you can make sense of it. It steps up, and A-weighted or Z-rated, all these have different curves relating on frequency and things like that. So a can that has a lower frequency, which happens against a lot of the bigger body cans, they sound much quieter than what they meter for. The same day of metering can vary 2 to 6 dB easily. Humidity can drop it. Ammo can drop it. There's just so much that can be played with as far as the game. The gun can be a large portion of it. In our testing kind of early on, we found that the Glock were probably the worst thing to do any metering or suppressor demo you can imagine, because it's the loudest platform out there. Conversely, the SIG 226 and the SIG 320s are some of the most quiet. So there's a lot of things that can be done. A lot of people get wrapped up in the sound and the dB meter game.
Yeah.
Back pressure things. I mean, suppressors are going to increase back pressure. But it is a viable thing, so you want to try and limit back pressure. Some people have whiz-bang crazy ideas on how to do that. But it's all a game. All of them fairly much work. You just have to look at the options, the upgradability, the support, and what the design or what the company or concepts can provide you.
So if the numbers game, like if the whole decibel and I know people go look at the decibel reading because they're like, well, it's a number and I can quantify a number because I understand that 135 is less than 145. So they go look at that. But then when you realize that all the companies or a lot of the companies are not honest about those numbers, or that they're testing at different altitudes and all that, is like, what is the best way to know, you know, what I'll tell you this right now. I have a Silencer Co. Saker 762 that is the bane of my existence. I hate that can. It hurts no matter what I put it on. I just hate it. Like, I really wish that I had never bought it, but it had good numbers. And so I was like, you know, why not? Why not do this? So what would you say, like, how should people decide which can they're going to buy as far as like noise or tone or frequency?
Well, a lot of people, the same scenario doesn't fit everybody's needs. The Saker is actually a really good can. It's Stellite baffles. It's absolutely, utterly bomb-proof. I don't know really if you could shoot it out with that Stellite baffle system. I don't doubt that it meters what they say it meters, but it meters it at a higher frequency than what a lot of the other bigger body cans meter, so it sounds louder. Back pressure, especially on the AR semi-autos, out the muzzle, the numbers, what you're getting out the muzzle versus out the ejection port, are going to be two different things. If you get a lower muzzle report, a can that has more back pressure, now it's going to be a louder ejection port. So they may be getting the numbers or even better out the muzzle, but now they're increasing back pressure, it's dumping all that gas out the gas tube, and now you're getting all that noise out of the ejection port, which makes it sound louder to the shooter. But the purpose of the can was to sound loud or to sound quieter on the other end, because maybe they're a legit door kicker operator that needs a scenario like that. So I mean, you just got to look at what the benefit of a certain can or certain manufacturer offers you.
Yeah.
With our future-proof technology, I think it allows us to offer many people many different options with the same registered system.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm surprised to hear you say that the Saker 7.62 is so great because it really is just uncomfortable to shoot on pretty much every gun that I put it on.
Again, I'm sure the cam was developed as kind of like a military offering.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Where overall decibel numbers are not what they were after. It was attenuation of the sound to make it quieter, but the signature and the lower back pressure was a higher priority than ultimate muzzle numbers.
See, that makes total sense. Like, I mean, when you explain it like that, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go take it out of the trash can. But yeah, I've been really unhappy with it because I've got a bunch of cans now, and like all of them, I kind of compare them to that first because it was the first can I ever had. And
the person's fault is the person that sold it to you because they weren't able to explain the implications of the can.
Yeah,
that's 99% of the suppressor game is being able to figure out what the customer wants and figure out the best product for it. If there's a product out there that I think is better than a can we make, I'm absolutely going to offer that to the customer. I'm not a big fan of Silencer Co. product, but I'm pretty happy with the, or pretty impressed with the Harvester. Super lightweight for a hunting can like that. I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's a good price point, lots of mount options. Somebody's looking for something like that, the Harvester's the way to go. I mean, we just don't have an offering like that yet.
Interesting. So, yeah. You mentioned understanding what it's going to be for. So, as a consumer, if all I really care about is how does it sound to my precious little ears when I'm shooting the gun, like what are some details or features that I should focus on?
Volume and mount.
Volume and mount. All right.
If you want it to sound, if you want to do it as comfortable as possible, get as big a can as you can find.
I guess that makes sense.
Lowers the frequency, and the weighted numbers will be
55-gallon drum with baffles.
Hell, absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
I would do it.
I think you should.
Serial number one.
That might make the actual 55-gallon drum ring, honestly. It'd probably have a dong.
That would be amazing.
It might have a little first round pop, so the 35-gallon drums I find make better suppressors.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I always
we
talk
have to test this. We have to.
I always talk about because I don't have decibel meters because I don't listen to that stuff anymore. I always talk about my cringe factor. Like, does it make me cringe when I shoot it, or how much does it make me cringe? Which
again, 2 days apart, you'll have two different apparent sounds. So it's always good if you have the opportunity to go to the suppressor shoots where there's actual demos and listen to can A, can B, can C, and cans you weren't even aware of all together, because you can sometimes hear in those concepts on all the different guns, on all the different platforms, with all the different ammunition, it's all going to have different performance.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say I'm preferential to double D cans.
Again, it broke out.
He said he's preferential to double D cans.
Oh, was that your comment that popped up? Whose comment popped up?
Not mine, but this other guy.
Someone in the chat.
There it is.
I totally love my wife's cans, says Brother Trucker.
Does she have dead air cans or silencer Co? Or does she have some actual cans?
I don't care what he says because we're going to need pictures for proof.
Yeah. Picture GTFO.
Hey, going back just a little bit, you mentioned Glock is like the loudest platform. Why is that?
The decoupling is very fast, which is, I believe, one of the reasons that makes it as reliable it is. It decouples and it starts dumping that gas very quickly. If you take a Glock and you press on the barrel, you can see it immediately start tipping down before the slide moves much at all.
Interesting.
If you take a SIG, on the other hand, and you push on the barrel, the whole slide and barrel move back, I guess about 3/16, maybe close to 200 thousandths before you start seeing a decoupling. So there's just more time. it's able to still maintain this reliability because now those two things are coming back in unison, so it has energy and mass building up, but it's not dumping gas. So the Glocks are dumping gas immediately. The FNs are very similar to that too. There's just another pistol we came across. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it has a very long delay system for tipping down, and I'm really excited to test it to see how well it performs because I have an idea that it might be a little bit quieter than the 226 style platform.
Huh,
and I'm totally drawing a blank. We've gotten so many inexpensive handguns in the shop in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It literally, that's what people are after right now. Cheap ARs and then sub $400 handguns.
Yeah.
People are trying to keep their stimulus money, stretch their stimulus money as much as possible.
Yeah.
How good is a High Point as a suppressor host?
It's not good at all. It's not good at all.
But that fixed barrel, though.
Why not? It's a fixed barrel.
Yeah, you don't need a piston, but the blowback and the recoil increase is miserable to shoot. We actually suppressed some High Point way back in the day, and we're the first to manufacture Yeater discreeters whenever the whole Yeet cannon thing came about. And I've got a few people that have actually started copying the Yeater discreeters now.
I've seen that actually. Yeah, I've seen them all over the place.
But they make terrible suppressed guns. We've got a 9mm. I'm not sure how it is still together.
It's awesome, man. The
actually, whoever that SAR-X
yeah.
I think it was a P10, a CZ P10 that I was looking at.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so I think that might be it. I could see the gun in my mind's eye, but I can't remember the model number, or even the manufacturer. But it may have been a P10.
It's awesome. So we noticed. So talking about volume, well, actually, so we talked about volume, but then you said mount is also important for sound. If I'm looking for quietest at my ears,
not so much for sound, but for overall usability. The mount makes up a big portion of, hey, I'm going to have one can, I need to use it on 5 guns.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, I need a lightweight can, as simple as possible. It's going to be accurate as possible for this one gun. Well, the first guy, we're absolutely going to say, look, you need some kind of QD and an inexpensive brake mount. Because as much as I love the Dead Air system, they're on the pricey side. It is the best mount that's out there. But once you outfit 5 guns and a suppressor, you're talking $750, $800 worth of mounts. Whereas if you just need that one gun, one as lightweight, simple as possible, and you want to maintain accuracy, a QD system is going to absolutely be the way to go. Our brake system is kind of a good combination of both. It's very simple. It maintains lightweight, but it's a square face direct thread style, but coarse threads. So it kind of gives you the benefit of both worlds, but it is not a true legit ratcheting, though, again, not yet.
No.
We've got some really cool things in the work for 2020 and early 2021. Hopefully we actually have a SHOT Show and an NRA to go to next year. So we'll find out.
It's crazy,
but
man.
It's going to be a hell of a release for ACLS this coming January if we have it open.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man. So you mentioned the like $800. Yeah, that was me. So when I got my Saker, I was like, oh, I love their QD. So I put that Mad mount, which is like $400, and then I bought a bunch of their muzzle devices, flash hiders, because I was like, well, I don't really need a comp because I can just put a can on it. So I bought all those, and I was like $500 in. But that Mad mount, it was awful. Had it replaced under warranty 3 times.
Oh wow!
Still just constantly getting locked onto every single thing I tried to put it on, and just hated it. So finally said, "Go ahead."
The ASR is significantly better than the Myad. It is a terrible mount.
It is.
It really is.
So
but what
bad.
came of that was the X37 platform, basically the Omega mount, the 1 3/8, about 20. That pretty much is every major manufacturer's transition to it.
Interesting.
J-Max is doing it, Dead Air's doing it, Silencer Go's doing it, Griffin's doing it, Q's doing it. Of course, we're doing it. I think it's the future. I like more of an open source kind of thing.
Definitely.
What are we shushing?
Yeah, who are we shushing?
Oh, we just lost somebody.
It's okay. I think
he's like, shh.
Probably talking to his kid or his wife, or
his dog is all wimpy right now.
So the mount part is.
I got
a little bit of sound performance in the mounts. Absolutely, we've seen that as well. But it's the attachment and the convenience factor of it. Cans are supposed to be fun and supposed to be adding all these benefits and all this great stuff to guns. You don't want to throw something on it that doesn't meet your requirements or doesn't meet your needs.
Yeah. So, I had those Silencer Go's. Then I said, what is it? The Chemo? Is that the one from Dead Air? Yeah.
The Dead Air Chemo. We were in works of our own fast attach ratcheting system.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw the Chemo. And then me and Zach just kind of had a frank conversation like, is this better than the Chemo? No. Scrap it. I'm going to call Mike.
Yeah.
Call Mike. We're kind of working on what we're going to do. So we've been offering the Chemo with the Chemo compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Most people still start off with our standard mount just because it is included with the can. It works out really well. But we still have a few people that do want a true fast attach system that come in and really get the Dead Air Chemo.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of people that are just invested in the Silencer Co. ASR or the Myads. They come in and swap the mount out on our can for that. So they have that more cross-platform ability.
Yeah, I did that forever. Then, so I got rid of the Silencer Co. stuff, got the Chemo, and then bought 10 muzzle devices that I put all over a bunch of stuff. And I was like, this is great. Like, Chemo's way better. It's not perfect yet, but it's way better. And now these days, like, I've really turned around just to direct thread. Like, yep. What? Really, it's not that inconvenient. It's not that bad. I don't know what.
It really isn't.
I don't know what my deal was.
Once you're past, like, 4 cans, that's really all you need for most of the guns you're going to have. Literally, how many non-top 5 guns have you shot in the last 18 months?
Yeah.
Unless you're a tester or doing reviews or something like that. But most people have their go-to few guns and 6 cans on that and roll with it.
Yep. Totally. We do it a lot. And that was my thinking for the QD stuff. I was like, I'm going to be testing a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to put these muzzle devices on at $100 a pop and do this. And now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to direct thread, whatever. So I have a lot of Bowers Group stuff, and they've got their little mounting system. So I put those on a lot of different stuff and use those. But direct thread, I've really come around to it. I don't know what my deal was.
I think
threaded interfaces.
Yeah.
I think the only like quick mounting system I have on any cans is a 3-lug on my Sten.
Yeah.
3-lug on a Sten. Hell yeah. I just got a new HK clone. I got one of the PTR 603 KT something or another's. Basically the MP5K pistol. Just got it today, and I've had this Ronin Works or Ronin something or another 3-lug probably for 2 years. It's never fit an HK platform that I've ever put my hands on because it's tight. I guess they took the tightest, the lowest specification and made it to that. It sure enough, it fits that PTR perfectly. So I got a new 3-lug like it was free. Like, hey, look at that.
I only wish they'd make if they could figure out a way to make a 3-lug work with a piston, so I could put them on my handguns. I know.
Bulk, a lot of bulk there.
Well, it's the spring doing the opposite.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I want to take that 9mm can and put it on those guns without
really, really fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because they'll be like rentals and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. So, Joe, when I was shopping for 9mm pistol caliber carbine, I was talking to you. We were talking about the Pilum And you also mentioned that the Banshee was like a great suppressor host, especially for a machine gun, a suppressed machine gun.
It is. I'm liking it a lot. There's starting to be a few people that are saying they're looking at some premature wear. I've got 3 of them. We've got some significant rounds on ours. We've got several customers with some builds out there that have some significant rounds. And I'm not seeing any wear issues or any premature issues, but I'm enjoying it. It's quieter, it's lighter, less recoil, uses standard car buffer and buffer springs. I mean, there's a lot of benefits there. If you break it down, it probably costs about the same with not having to buy the special buffer and spring and things of that nature.
Yeah, true. And it's like it's a M16 style bolt carrier group. It's pretty nice. I got to say, I'm pretty happy with it so far. So I've shot it with the Pilum, and it's been super quiet, super fun. And even though this has a Nielsen device on it, but
we do have one of the more robust Nielsen or lid devices that's in the industry. It's done like that because we just have a tendency over building operating things like that, things that move.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worked out well because it's allowed us to for it to work really well on like the lock breech slide lock device pistols, like Sean's doing. I think even though we sent him some fixed mounts.
Not yet.
I hadn't sent those?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to have to send those, but I'm glad you're doing some testing for us. But just run it till it kills it, man.
Yeah, it's got 600 rounds on a pistol caliber carbine so far.
The spring will go first before you actually have any damage to the piston or the can itself.
Now, to be clear,
it has a very robust Nielsen lid system.
Yeah, to be clear, like I did tell him I was going to put on a pistol caliber carbine. He's like, not with the booster, and then he's like, you know what? Like, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, do it, run it. I mean, we've got when we were doing some prototype testing with lock breech pistols, we've got one can that has probably 2,800 rounds through it in lock breech mode, and I think around 12 or 1,400 rounds or so, the spring just died. You could literally just kind of almost feel no spring retention, threw a new spring in it and rolled with it.
Nice.
I think that spring probably just got hot on one long testing day where we ran, I think, 750 rounds just back to back to back. And I think it just heat fatigued because we haven't seen one again. But it's holding up. We definitely don't recommend it, but it's proven to be okay.
I just posted a video like Full Auto Friday last week, and you can literally see it in the video. Aaron slows it down, and it's like, yeah. It's pretty awesome.
I saw the video. I was like, I could have swore I sent him a mount.
Nope.
Maybe not. I'll check with him.
No, it was pretty cool.
Comments? Did anybody say anything or actually even notice it?
One person did, actually, yeah. He's like, nice booster. I was like, yeah.
Burn it till it dies, man.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So, I mean, there's a lot of can companies out there now. Like, what would you say set you guys apart, like, more than anything else?
Again, our future-proof technology, the always upgradability, and the modularity of it. Nobody else has monocore modular systems. Nobody has the future-proof technology we offer. And frankly, we're a smaller company. We do this because we like to make things like this. So we do stuff that we want and stuff that we use. So it works out well with the shooters out there.
That's awesome.
People dig our stuff.
Your Saber, the 5.56 can, so it's smaller than the Pilum, shorter than the Pilum, but I think it's a little bit bigger on the OD.
Yeah, it's actually 1.468, I think, 1.467, just under 1.5 inches, so it fits under 1.5 inch rails. So we can, of course, use 1.5 inch stock and just a skim pass to clean it up. So that's another thing we do is we try and use off-the-shelf materials that are available to us in the oil patch. Like 17.4s and the 70.75s in standard sizes, not like weird sizes like 1 5/16 or something weird.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows us to use that. The Saber is actually a very surprising product and very close to some of the prototypes that we initially set up with because it performed so well. With the performance doing so well, we revamped and looked back at some of our other suppressors, incorporating some of the Sabre technologies, and all of our suppressors have benefited from the concepts that we were just trying out in the Sabre that worked really, really well.
Yeah. So I was talking to you on the phone today, and I was talking about like how I've come to understand that 10.5 inch, like 5.56, especially full auto, is like super devastating on cans and stuff like that. Why is that?
Uncorking pressure, the velocity of the unburnt particle. Basically, it's like the worst environment you could imagine. 7.5 is the peak pressure of 5.56. 5.56 is also a relatively small bore diameter, so there's not a lot of pressure drop from the bore distance. Adversely, like 300 Blackout has one of the fastest pressure drops per barrel than really anything else, because there's low case powder volume and a very large bore diameter compared to what the case is. 5.56, on the other hand, has a very large case capacity, lots of powder in relationship to a very small 22 caliber, almost a capillary system. So it takes a lot longer for that pressure to start dropping. So that uncorking pressure, the velocity of the particles, is very abusive on suppressors.
So my 7.5 inch suppressed SPR.
7.5 is probably one of the nastiest. I think probably our 6.25 inch HK might be a little bit more abusive because we're not losing any gas tube pressure and it's all hitting it. And now we're getting more light off and burn in the suppressor. But the 7.5 will probably be a little bit higher pressure on the can itself. So it's kind of a toss-up between that HK or a 7.5. The 10.5, again, is going to be lots of pressure. Has a tendency to be more overgas because it's got a lower dwell period between the gas system and the end of the barrel. So you got to overgas it a little bit. If it's overgas, now your cyclic rate's higher, your cyclic rate's higher, and now the can is getting pounded faster. So it's just 10.5 is just kind of a perfect storm of a really ugly performance in a very, very common platform.
Yeah, it's crazy because 10.5 is like kind of my favorite length for most of my stuff, and I've definitely found that a lot of people don't recommend the suppressors for it. Now, I got to say the Sabre, like on a 10.5 inch machine gun, it's like super quiet, which did surprise me because it is a smaller can. And like, how does that work? I mean, you said volume and mount are like huge, but like, there's not a whole lot of volume there, is there?
There isn't. The Sabre is, again, kind of one of those odd things because 5.56 is very high pressure. Now it allows us the opportunity to use that pressure to do work. And that work is to keep those gases moving and make it quieter. So the Sabre is a great can. I think it's probably one of the higher performing dedicated 5.56 cans or intermediate caliber cans that are out there because we're able to do a lot of work with it with those high pressure 5.56 gases. 300 Blackout is going to be a lot lower pressure, so we're not going to be able to do a lot of work. So the Pilum actually works really well. The Sabre 300 Blackout, same dimensional size as the 5.56. It doesn't quite have the same comparable threshold performance that the 5.56 has. Still sounds phenomenal and great on 300 Blackout, but suppressed versus unsuppressed, there's not a huge drop like the 5.56 is.
Roden in the chat was mentioning hearing say 50 BMG. Do you guys have a can for 50?
We do. From all of our testing, it is the quietest 50 BMG suppressor out there, but we kind of cheat because it is an integral. It is a lot of volume, and it's more of a reflex system, which not really anybody else is doing anything like that. But our 50 BMG Hades system is super, super quiet, and it is indoor hearing safe.
That's so crazy. Indoor.
Yeah. As long as you're close to the backdrop, the bullet doesn't have the opportunity to start the crack. So you don't even get the supersonic crack if you're like 6, 8 feet from the backstop.
Huh. You know, I think we've shot that actually.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We usually bring them out. It's actually one of the first projects I ever did. Whenever the old company, whenever I came on board, the first Integral 50 that was there was a massively terrible thing. It was overweight. It was made out of basically pipe, almost 3/8 thick pipe, just because of the
Jesus.
There wasn't any engineering behind it. It was just like a huge can, lots of baffles, not a whole lot of volume in it. It was a great concept, but it didn't perform well. That was one of the first things I did was revamp the Hades system. Got a lot more volume in it. Set it up to where it was a lot more robust, where it had multiple mounting locations so it stayed centered, and then developed a rudimentary monocore for it. And it performed really, really well. And then later again, we revamped it again with titanium tubing, dropped the diameter down so hoop strength's a little bit better so we can get away with a thinner tube. Zach totally revamped the core, like from our rudimentary style monocore system to a delta-shaped system that just the combination of all those things worked really, really well. And it's an outstanding. I think we're looking at like a 44 dB drop between suppressed and unsuppressed.
That's crazy.
It's one of the largest deltas of suppressed versus unsuppressed we've ever seen.
Yeah, 44. That's nuts because a lot of cans are like 5, something like that.
I would say most 50 BMGs, because there is a high threshold. Most BMGs, they rate them around 174 to 182 unsuppressed.
Oh, jeez.
It depends on who's rating them. Most microphones can't actually measure above 174, so where they're getting that 180 number, I'm guessing they're just extrapolating stuff.
Huh.
But they're getting numbers down to around low 150s and then the 148s. But you're also having to get the microphone a little bit further away, because what if you have one of those hot loads and now it's bumping 176, 178. Now you've just smoked your $2,000 microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
You're not going to see a whole lot of meter data on 50 BMG. And the ones that you do are the same things we have to do. We basically have to extrapolate it out. Because instead of the standard 1 meter would destroy any of the microphones that are out there. So we have to extrapolate it out and do the math and things to develop it. Or do at-ear testing, which is a lot of the things what we do when we did the BMG.
Yeah, because you guys shoot that in the shop there, right? When you test it?
We do. We shoot it all the time. Pretty much everyone we build, we shoot 3 to 5 rounds through it just to test, make sure everything's good to go. It's kind of fun. If the shop's kind of cleared out and ready for it, whenever we have customers, we'll do it there. I think we did a test with Eric with Ivy 8888.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't believe me when I was telling him, or if he just kind of wanted to just show the theatrics or just show how much pressure it was. But I think he was impressed whenever he shot it too. He wasn't expecting the dB drop from suppressed to unsuppressed.
Crazy. So you've got some pretty nice lowers there. When I was looking for low shelf lowers to build machine guns, you said that you had some really good ones. So I bought a couple good ones from you, and I got to agree. I've been really, really happy with them.
I appreciate it.
Lots of features. Like, go through some of the features that your lowers have.
Lots of value-added things.
Yes.
All right. So first off, we use mil-spec 7075 forgings. I'm not going to say we will never, ever offer a milled lower, but we will probably never offer a milled lower. 7075 forgings are just inherently stronger, inherently lighter, inherently cheaper, and just better. The grain structure follows the curves of the lower. It's naturally not going to have those crystal shear growths like a billet would. So that's first thing. We're always going to have that forging. The surface finish we put on is a true Type 3 hard anodized. It's with mil-spec, has a certain range here. We require to be in more than the center of that range. So it's going to fit more things across the board. Plus, our uppers fit really, really well. If you happen to get somebody else's lower that doesn't fit well, we've got a jack screw to help tension it.
Yep.
So you don't have to have the what's that thing called, the arrow wedge or
AccuWedge.
AccuWedge.
In the backside, because I'm a really big fan of super lightweight builds and simplicity, and whenever you take things apart, yep, that's it. That's a black one. I've never seen a black one.
It's a printed one.
Ah,
Nice.
Racist.
interesting. You need one of our lowers with a jack screw, or just buy upper and lower, and then you don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
Right.
So on the back where the buffer D10 is,
Yep.
it's actually threaded, so you can thread that in. So you don't you can do a pistol build or a super lightweight build with no back plate or no castle nut. Just screw the little carbine flanged buffer tube right into it, and it saves about 4 ounces on that. On the bolt cap, it's actually a threaded pin rather than a roll pin. One, so it's simplicity. It's a lot faster for us to assemble without having to worry about busting up lowers. But a lot of people like the modularity of ARs, so they're always swapping out parts. So this allows you to play around and swap out different bolt catches, install it yourself a little bit better. So it's just lots of little features like that all over the lower. We give you one side that's completely open, non-billboarded. So if you want to do lasering or something like that, it allows you to do that. Of course, we are an NFA manufacturer. We do lots of machine guns. Contract import stuff, so it is a low shelf lower. So it's very simple for conversion.
Licensed individual conversion.
Licensed individuals conversions, yes. So there's lots of features. I've been doing lowers for a very long time, and just have looked at all the features I want and what I wanted to continue with it. And I think it's some of the best lowers that I've ever offered. And I think it's definitely some of the best blowers in the industry.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I've been very, very impressed with them.
Did you get one of our 9mm lowers?
No, I've just got 2 of the 5.56.
Our 9mm lowers is actually using some patented technology from another company in Florida that's developed probably the best Glock magazine bolt hold open system. It's a little cage on the side. So if you need a 9mm, we've got a really awesome 9mm lower setup. Though I'm really digging the CMMG magazines. It's a good concept. I wish they would have come up with that 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about those today. I was like, look, these, the Endo Mag, these things are awesome. And it allows, so it made it super easy for me, especially with your low shelf lower. I just converted it, registered it, or did all that stuff. And then, if I want 9mm, I throw a 9mm upper on it. If I don't, I just, use it for whatever. It's awesome. I freaking love that system, and it's been really reliable too.
It really increases the flexibility for those guys that have transferable lowers.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if y'all watch the transferable market or anything, but the transferable market is doing some weird stuff. This is the first time I've ever seen a drop, like a significant drop in pricing and values. I think the transferable market had gotten a little overinflated in the last 36 months or so, but it sure as hell has self-corrected lately.
Interesting.
So if anybody looking for transferables, now is the time to buy.
Gunbroker. There's actually, I'm sure there's like a lot of better places, but I do look at Gunbroker at least once a week just to see like no law letter stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
And no law letter stuff, that on the other hand has increased a lot because the ATF's been a lot more cracking down on the guys that basically sign off on the letters.
Mm-hmm. They're
calling and giving all these letter signers the 5th degree just to make sure, like, hey, how are you justifying this item?
Interesting.
What is this? Why are you doing this? Well, why do you need 2 of them? Your department's only got like 37 people. You really need 2 of these? So they're going a lot harder into it. I don't know if it's restriction or some people are abusing this system. But it's designed for manufacturers and dealers to be able to purchase these items for resale. And I know there's some people out there that are kind of abusing it and things like that. So they may be cracking down on it. Yeah. So it has increased the value of no letter and pre-mace out there.
Yeah.
But transferables actually have significantly dropped.
That's interesting. So what else you guys got going on? Any other new stuff or new stuff coming out? Like what else? I know you're busy as all the time. I see your Facebook. You're like, oh yeah, at the shop at 10 o'clock at night, midnight.
But lately, it's mostly because I'm paranoid because we have had now since last night 7 break-ins in the last 4 weeks of Central Louisiana shops. I think five drive-ins. 3 of them have been carjackings, and they take the trucks and drive them through the front. One of those was a NOPD or sheriff's or something off-duty, not off-duty, but unmarked car. They carjacked this cop. Unmarked car, but he was in uniform, and then used that vehicle to ram into a shop.
What the hell?
Yeah, so some of my paranoia and up late at the shop has been I'm just hanging out here longer to try and increase the security around the place.
Yeah, no doubt.
We do have some really cool stuff coming. If you've seen our Hawker subgun system, the Hawker subgun system, it's a big body can, 1 3/4, 9mm and 45. So that's what we offer people if they want like an Aquas product that's more of like the Omni style suppressor that does a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, revamping it, getting it lighter weight, incorporating more of a future-proof system into it. The Hawker right now is an old-school threaded system, monocore on one end, mount on the other end, tubes threaded, so we can always upgrade it. But threads on tubes can be problematic, especially on the register section. So we're revamping it to follow along more of the future-proof technology in our Allison Sabre system. So it's going to be a modular monocore system that has that future-proof upgradability and the future-proof register section. So we've dubbed it the Hawker 2, and we're kind of in the final product development of that. Should be releasing it. Haven't really settled on a name, but we're kind of, I don't know, we're going to kind of steal from the industry, and it might be called the Hawker 36. I'm not sure yet.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Where can people keep up with everything you guys are up to?
It's Facebook and Instagram. That YouTube has been so throttled down. I don't think we've done a YouTube video that's successful in the last 2 or 3 years. Haven't really gone onto the Twitch side of it. So we need to start maybe exploring some other social media, but absolutely Facebook, Instagram, and the website. Watch for new products coming out.
Badass. That's Acklys Defense, AKLYS Defense.com is where you can find all that stuff. You got a run, or can you stick around with us?
I can hang out, man. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool, man. Now you're a panelist, as if you need our invite. Like we spend a lot of time with Joe and Zach, like when we're on the road. You guys always let us shoot all your.
We're shooters, man. We just like to see people shooting and enjoying it.
Yeah, that's badass. Aaron, are you awake?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm more worried about
totally.
Jeremy.
Are you okay, Jeremy? You awake?
Jeremy's head was dipped in hate. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean it's normal.
He's seeing if he can suck his own. It's weird.
He's amazingly flexible for a man his size.
Apparently, he can.
Wait. Are you drinking water? Is that water?
Savage, is that water?
Yes, it is.
I'm ashamed of you.
I ran out of alcohol, actually. So.
Ridicule.
Mm-hmm. You know, the liquor stores are considered essential. They're still open, bro.
Yeah. Did you know
Most
that?
of them. Dude, it would be mass rioting panic if they tried that here in Louisiana.
Everywhere. Well, yeah. So in Colorado, they're open. In fact, I can literally just go pick it up at restaurants now, which is kind of nice. Just curbside liquor pickups.
We've always had.
That reminds me. There's a local brewery that has a fantastic deal on growlers, so I might have to hit that tomorrow when I'm in that part of town.
Nice. Yeah, that is true, Joe. Actually, I think that was the first place I ever did it.
We have we got a new guy from one of them like cold states. I can't remember where it is. He thought I was messing with him when we were just mentioning drive-through daiquiri shops in passing, and he totally thought we were with him. Like, no, it's, yeah, as long as you don't put the straw in, it's not an open container.
So great. So we were actually supposed to be in Louisiana a month ago. We were going to visit Joe and Zach at Acklys, and yeah, then COVID happened. It was ridiculous.
Maybe Joe started COVID just to keep you from going.
And then the whole god country lost its.
Good thing you didn't come. I was like, the Mardi Gras thing really launched it down here. New York, I think, it is the melting pot start. It's the spout of the melting pot. So it's naturally going to start up there. But it just happened to hit Mardi Gras. We get people from all over the world here for Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
It was just a start with that.
Yeah. And I'm not a Trump supporter by any means, but didn't the mayor of New Orleans try to blame Trump for everybody getting sick at Mardi Gras?
I'm sure.
I thought I read something like that. I was
the
like,
New Orleans mayor, the Baton Rouge mayor, they both lost their minds.
Well, if everyone just started drinking some Clorox bleach, we'd all be all right.
Exactly. We were supposed to be there, and then I saw a couple weeks later that Bourbon Street had been ground zero for all the cases. Yeah.
I had some guys that are there, NOPD guys, mounted guys, some guys that live in the area. One of my sales guys, law enforcement and military sales guys, is in the New Orleans area. And he sent me some pictures of Bourbon Street. Dude, I've never seen Bourbon Street empty. And it's just empty and clean. It's same thing happened in Katrina.
I've seen Bourbon.
Yeah.
I've seen Bourbon Street once. I never want to see it again.
Dude, I love Bourbon Street. It's fun.
I enjoy it.
Horrible.
it was
I
fun.
enjoy
When
it.
I
I
went.
like
Dude, it's awesome.
I've seen Jeremy throw up in the street. I don't want to see that again.
Yeah,
either.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, I'll just casually walking down the street, turns and said, and then keeps on going. Dude, most amazing thing ever.
Yeah. I was like, do you even know?
Casual vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I expect Bourbon Street to look like, actually.
And you just keep rolling. Just go grab the neck, go to the hand grenade, grab your next hand grenade or joker, and keep rolling.
Yep.
So, have y'all seen the, I think, Kenneth Copeland remix video?
Was that the guy who was who took COVID-19 away from everybody? The TV?
Wind, the Wind of God.
Yeah.
Video.
Oh my God. I have seen the remix video. It's amazing.
It is hilarious. So I think that is probably the most, the most telling thing. Cause he's a Southern preacher. I don't know if he or Jimmy Swaggart, Jimmy Swaggart Ministries is in Baton Rouge. Or was. I guess it's a different ministry name. But kind of cut from the same cloth. But I very much could imagine Jimmy Swaggart's Wind of God remix. And that's probably one of the strangest things I've seen come out of that.
I agree. That was the thing where I was like, oh my God, we've lost our way.
Sometimes I break the Wind of God, if you know what I mean.
I totally had to go and find the original video to see where how did the remix go to here?
Yeah,
I needed to see where it started from.
Yeah, because you think
the Trump thing with the hey, go drink some Lysol. I had to do the thing where wait, how did we get here?
Yes.
Where did we start from? Did we start here, or did we start here and then we had the whole helping? And unfortunately, it wasn't down here. It was actually somewhere around here, but it still got pushed up to here.
Yeah.
Definitely a left-sided political thing.
So freaking crazy, man. It is absolutely nuts.
I don't know if we're ever going to go back to normal. I'm concerned about where we're going to end up and how far the nose is already under the tent. Is the camel going to keep coming?
Yeah.
Where are we going to end up? Was this a test? How much of a test was it?
How compliant is the populace?
So in Colorado yesterday, we went from stay at home to safer at home. And I'm like, dude, we're going to see another huge spike in about 2 to 3 weeks. And I bet they shut our state down again. Like, I would be willing to bet money that they shut us down again when we hit a huge spike.
But what is a spike? Where's it coming from?
Cases.
Where's the data coming from?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cases, right? Because we basically opened up our state again. And there's clearly some things there that, like social distancing has to be in place for businesses that are going to reopen and all that good stuff. But all the people are going to be going to all the stores. We're going to see a big, huge re-spike of cases. I'm not saying deaths, but we'll see a big spike in cases. And, I think Who's listening to music?
Aren't you?
Wait,
No.
is that me?
No, I don't think so. Unless you're playing video games.
Oh, wait.
It's Aaron. Why, Aaron?
It's the COVID-19 Blow the Wind of God remix.
Okay.
He's there we go.
That's not the one I saw.
Yeah, that's like a dude mixing it live. There's like
Yeah, that's not the same. That's not the one I saw. But his facial responses are like the freakiest part of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking like he's blowing like that's totally unhygienic where he's
right. I know.
But that's the whole thing of COVID-19. That's how it starts. You know?
The weird thing is
it
that
took me a little bit to like process and figure out what the hell he was talking about and going on, and then until I looked at the original video, I couldn't figure out actually the wind of God was what was cleaning it up.
yeah.
I thought he was like trying to like send the COVID out to inoculate his following. I'm like, this guy is crazy.
The weirdest part of everything.
Our preachers and pastors down here have lost their mind.
Yeah, it is crazy.
We've got the guy that's just around the corner. Actually, his church is in between the house and the shop, but he's the guy that got arrested.
Yeah,
and I actually went to high school with him.
I saw that.
Yeah, he was in our high school class way back in the day. But he got arrested, and then he got out. Now he's asking for more donations to support his federal court battle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
You know, the weird thing about that Wind to God video is that it took away my COVID, but it gave me cancer and AIDS.
And nightmares.
Yeah, and nightmares. I hate it. All right, hey, let's move into Gear Chat. All right, so this is brought to you by Faxon Firearms, and they just released their new pistol caliber carbines, the Bantam. They've got them in stock. They're out there right now, this very second, and there are two rifle lines now. They've got pistol lines and slides and barrels and all kinds of other stuff, but the Bantams are selling really well. People are into them. Go check them out, FaxonFirearms.com. That's their 9mm pistol caliber carbines. They've got a couple different versions of those that are out there. And if you use coupon code WLS10, it's going to save you 10% off guns, parts, accessories, whatever you want. And I guess
COVID-19.
I'll start us out. I'm going to talk about the Recover Tactical 2020. This is a brace system that we've talked about on the show before. And so Flux Defense came out with their stuff, and I was like, I think maybe like as much as they charge might just be a little bit too much. So when we saw, like, Aaron is good friends with the Recover Tactical people, I guess it's something about your tribe or...
We're all peeps. Yeah. I mean, you know what? The Jewish community is strong with this one.
It is. So when I heard about this, I was kind of excited about it because it's basically, it's like a chassis / brace for your handgun, for a Glock. And if it's a bunch of different models of Glock, you can find more at their website. Specifically, this is a Glock 34, so it's a Glock 17 frame and a 34 slide and barrel that I've got in this one right now. But I got to say that the price is kind of one of the things that makes it attractive. I've been open carrying this at the office ever since I got it in, because you get the brace system, you get the pick rails, you get a sling, you get pretty much like everything. Oh, and a holster. So you can literally just like open carry this. Now mine's a little bit ridiculous. It's got the Atlas Defense Pilum on the front. It's a Glock 34. I've got a Streamlight TLR1HL. I've got a 30-round magazine. It's ridiculous, but you can literally carry this brace. And if you just have a normal like Glock 17 on it without the flashlight and the rails and the suppressor and all that and the big magazine, it's like actually pretty compact. So you could do clandestine work. I mean, I keep telling Angel that I'm going to go to Walmart open carrying this. Which I guess she mentioned that that's not allowed anymore. I'm like, I dare somebody to say something. But yeah, so I mean, it's pretty compact. And the best part is, for the package that I have that has everything, holster brace, everything is $150. If you just want the brace system, it's $99. And compared to that Flux Defense stuff, like that is huge savings. I've been carrying it all over the place. I've been messing with it. It seems pretty solid. The only thing I noticed so far is that a lot of the red dots, the pistol red dots these days, have like the abutment that comes out the side with the controls. So 3 of the 5 optics that I attempted to put on it had that. So I literally just had to Dremel a channel into it. But, I mean, it looks good. It's fine.
What optic is that? Is that the Hollow Sun?
This is a Swamp Fox. So the Hollow Sun I put on, and that one works fine. I got to say, I'm happier with this thing than I should be.
I think it's a great concept. When the Flux came out, I was like, I got to have one of those.
Yeah.
I never could get the guys to respond. Apparently, it's like 2 teenagers, non-gun guys that just started this company. So they thought
Probably
it was cool.
airsoft guys.
Yeah, and it just took off. I don't think they were expecting it. But I think the whole product is 3D printed.
Interesting.
Which is one of the things. It's either 3D printed or the buck they're using for the mold is fully 3D printed. Because there's definite 3D printing molding in there. I haven't been able to talk to the guys enough for them to tell me whether it's not. 3D printing has come a long way. But if that thing is injection molded, and for the price, it looks like there's the kit for $99.95.
Yeah.
Frame, brace, and the charging handle. That's a pretty cool system.
It really is. Yeah, I reached out to Flux.
I like the magazine holder.
So the magazine holder just launched for pre-order today. They're going to release that in June, but it's like a magazine holder that goes on the front pick rail where I have my light mounted right now. And definitely not a grip, but don't forget that misuse does not constitute redesign.
Hey, Sean, did you
Actually, you know what'd be kind of cool is they have it set up like a sten, so you have the magazine coming out the side.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you totally can, actually. I mean, it just goes on a pick
You know
rail.
what's even cooler than that, Savage?
Yes, actually having the sten.
Owning a stand.
Yeah.
Sean, you know the Glock's not really the best suppressor host. Just
You know, I heard that, actually.
Yeah.
Aaron, now your mic is too low.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody has a Glock.
Yeah. So this is the only Glock I own. It is a 17, and I actually took the 17 slide off and put my 34 slide on because I was like, well, it'll be cooler if I've got that. So yeah,
I would like if the 17 is your only Glock.
So I have a Polymer 80, 30 Glock 34-ish type thing.
So you still own 2 Glocks.
Well, okay. Well, in that case, I own like 15 Glocks, but I only own one actual Glock brand Glock. So yeah,
I would like one of those for my Glock.
I bet you would.
No, don't worry about it. So I talked to him already. They are literally just launching these right now. He said 3 weeks, and we'll get them out to the rest of the cast.
Yeah, if they're polymer injection, once they overcome that molding price, man, it's just tick a box on how many you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest issue that they're having is they had planned on producing these in the U.S., but because of the COVID issue, they have to produce them all in Israel and then ship them over. That's the biggest hump that they're hopping over.
Man, Aaron, somebody does not like you at all.
Oh no, man, that's John. He and I are best buddies now. We're good friends.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, someone else new
I
started
can
it.
see that.
Oh no, that's him on YouTube now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're tight, man. It's cool.
So yeah, Joe, like you, I reached out to Flux and I was like, hey, I'd love to have you on the show. And, do you have media rates, stuff like that? Just honestly, we wanted to talk about it. And they were such like, there's only one other company that is as big of as them, and that's Geissele. So
have you talked to the guys at Q? The guy at Q?
Yes, actually. Okay, 3. 3. But yeah, so yeah, I was really excited about this, and I got it in, and I got to say, like, and Jeremy, I did measure. Actually, there's plenty of room for the auto sear on the back of a Glock.
Nice.
Yeah,
if not, you can use one of our flush-based sears.
Oh.
Oh.
Flush.
Well, now.
That's
you have
exciting.
our attention.
That's exciting.
But do you have our checkbook? You will.
No.
Actually, he does have my credit card number.
We don't store that on file.
Oh, good. But yeah,
Anymore.
I really like, excuse me, COVID. I really like this.
China.
Finally got it in. I remember feeling it at SHOT. Wind of God. I felt it at SHOT.
You gotta do the creepy face.
That guy's insane. I was.
How is that dude's face doing that? I mean, like, how is that even possible?
Aaron, why'd you take out your 1911 grips?
Because I need more information on them before I talk about them. Well, I mean, I could show them here. They look pretty cool. They're
show us.
A listener sent them to me. Here's the camera. So they say they have a nice little We Like Shooting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and what's cool is on the other side. So you obviously you get grips. Sorry,
and it's broken.
My wife's hair was on. I'm like, ah! It's like, oh, my wife's hair was on everything. I don't get it. So the other side, but on the back of the other side, there is a little. See if I can get the light to catch it.
It's a nice grain.
It is. What does it say? Get 171.
Yes.
Get one. Nice.
Yes. So I thought they were really cool, and I'm going to talk about them more. It's from a listener who also sent me one of his pistols to do testing with the upcoming Polymer 80 grip that's coming in. I'll talk more about it next week.
Very cool. Savage, what kind of optics did you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I guess briefly. So SIG has recently come out with a little bit of an electro optic, and it's called the Sierra 6 BDS rifle scope. And I've been a fan of kind of bullet drop compensating or like scopes that have computers in them that you can do all the drops and figure all that out. There's a couple ways you can do it. ATN is one company that has been doing it in the past, and their solution is to make a kind of video scope. So it's more like a camera than it is a scope, and then you're looking through a view screen, and then it has the onboard computer that runs everything. But the problem with the ATNs is that takes a massive power draw. And so you have to have either a lot of AA batteries on hand or a pretty thick battery pack that you can plug a USB cable into in order to keep that thing alive for long enough to use it. Now, SIG, on the other hand, is taking a different approach. So they have a number of scopes. They have and they have them in different ranges. They have a 2 to 12 zoom, a 3 to 18, and a 5 to 30. And these go between $11.69 and $89 in price. And the system my whole screen went black. The system they have in place is kind of interesting. So they have 194 LEDs kind of in like a triangle shape. And that's more or less compensating vertically and then laterally for the different wind situations that you might find at those different ranges. And it has it takes two CR2030 batteries, and it has Bluetooth on your phone. So what you do is you would your loadout, your load, say 55 grain 5.56, and you will tell it the range, and then it can it'll light up those LEDs and show you the different spots that the bullet will drop at any given range, starting with your 0 at 100 yards being at there.
A lot of our long distance shooters are in the chat saying how much they hate it and it's cheating. But I'm like, dude, that's a great thing. Like, honestly, anything that helps helps.
Yeah.
Well, you already have. Sorry, go ahead.
Impact, bullet on target. How's that cheating?
I mean, yeah, and the thing is that you have a standard regardless. So even if there is no power to this thing, it can still operate as a standard. But if you want to have the bullet drop compensating and the different elemental factors worked in, it'll light up the specific LEDs at the different drop zones where you want it. So either way you work it, it's still a workable scope, even if there's no power. And I'd imagine that even then those 2032s will still last a long time because the power level needed is really minimal.
So here's the question. Can it do it faster than I can do it in my head if I know what I'm doing?
Yes, because it's showing all different locations lit up at the same time.
Now think of it like this, okay? you see it enough times, so it lights up for you, and you know where your impact's going to be at a certain distance. Eventually, you won't even need those lights anymore because you'll be like, okay.
Well, no, because different environmental factors are going to change. You're going to be shooting at different altitude. You're going to be shooting different wind conditions. You know, you're going to be maybe you want to change it, so you access the app and you'll change that around. So, I mean,
again, you can access it in the app instead of making a wind call. So you have to go in, punch everything in. If I could do that on my own without the scope, then I don't need it.
And
this is a thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm not on it. All right. Everybody that's mad about this thing is mad that they went through all the blood, sweat, and tears to learn how to shoot, and then here comes along a gizmo that does all that just takes away all that hard work, and some Riri behind a gun can start plugging steel at 1,000 yards like it's nothing. I mean, so don't get me wrong, but here's the question: if you spend years learning how to shoot, doing it, learning your gun, data, wind calls, yada yada yada, and you can do those, will this do it faster than I can do it if I just learn how to do it?
I mean, like, you know, if you spend all your, you know, how many ever years you have learned how to driving, and then Tesla comes out with a car that can drive for you.
I guarantee you a Tesla cannot win the Le Mans.
Boom.
Not yet.
That was actually that was the first one that Jeremy actually did that I was like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah, but maybe it will someday. You know,
until that point, you know, a race car driver or somebody who is very specialized in that field is going to smoke the out of all that technology until it gets to the point. I mean, it's the same thing, and it's like, so there's two sides of this. There's the future is now, old man, or there's this is stupid for people that just want to pay for a game instead of actually learn how to play it.
Well, it's bringing the lowest common denominator up. It's bringing the lowest common denominator up. It's taking somebody who isn't skilled and doesn't have that knowledge, who doesn't have that knowledge necessarily to be able to do it that quickly, and brings them up to where they can take the shot faster than they would if they had to figure it out because they don't have that information.
They're taking away their having to actually learn and put hard work in. It just say it's making people lazy.
It is.
It allows you to be lazy.
I mean, that's all technology, old man.
Yeah, it allows you to be lazy. This is the same thing when they first put sights on a gun and somebody was about a gun with sights. And they're like, what do you mean sights? You just pointed at the thing. You should just know where your rifle shoots. And then they had iron sights.
Go in your landline and call into the show.
And then somebody came out with a scope, and then people about scopes. And then they came out with scopes that actually worked. And
wait, the glass isn't supposed to warp and distort everything?
Why is my wire kind of do a oh wait, that's a horsehair on the front of my scope.
But it kind of reminds me of the whole like Deep Blue when the chess computer. You know, everyone was like, computers aren't as good as people, but you know what? They can do stuff that we can't, and it's really how I'm all about this. I'm pro help.
It's like you get an autistic kid that can do math equations faster than a computer.
Yeah, but let's see him talk to people.
see the computer do it.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, I like this setup because it's a lot slimmer, a lot lighter, and a lot better designed than other systems. Like I think 18 is cool, but their stuff is it's so battery intensive, and it's a heavy to put on.
Here's one thing.
It doesn't look like an active BDC scope. It reminds me
it looks like a normal scope.
Technology behind the Burris. What was that Burris that used to do that? You had the little remote you could put on your wrist. The Eliminator. Burris Eliminator.
I think I've seen that.
I think it's the Burris Eliminator.
There is
a lot cleaner and a lot more robust. And if it's pulling environmental data like wind speeds and things like that from atmospherics, I mean that's just an extra benefit. I mean, technology is growing.
Yeah.
Why not utilize technology to make people better?
I agree with that.
It doesn't make people better. It just allows you to be lazier.
I agree.
It's true. I mean, like tracking point.
I don't need how to learn how to do division. You know, what are you going to do? Carry a calculator around your pocket all day?
How about a supercomputer?
Boy, was my elementary school teacher wrong.
Yeah.
But really it is. I mean, if I was building a shed one time and I was trying to figure out the angle that I should cut the gable for the pitch of the roof that I wanted for the width and the and I was having a real hard time doing it. And I had to go get my neighbor who was a carpenter for a living, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he basically just set the board down, wrote a fucking angle on it with a square, and he said, "That's your angle." And I'm like, "What angle?" And he goes, "I don't know, but that's your angle." And I'm like, "Okay." And I copied the fucking board 24 times, and it worked perfectly. That was my angle, but he couldn't tell me what angle it was. He just knew that at a 4 to 5 pitch or whatever. I don't even remember what the it was, but the whatever the pitch and the width and and he just looked at it and he went, "There's your angle." And I'm like, I would have had to go get a computer or learn.
Yeah. Which is pretty crazy. I mean, when we think about like tracking point, we hated that because it required the solution, the ballistic solution, like it required that before it would actually fire. So you had to like find it and then pull the trigger, and then once it was sure that it was going to hit, it would actually fire. This is like minus the fire control kind of thing, right? Like it gives you the solutions, it makes things a little bit easier for you, but you're still ultimately the guy making the choice and pulling the trigger. So it takes a lot of the things we hated about the tracking point and adds a lot of technology. So I'm kind of with Aaron. Like, I mean, I understand the value of this. I don't want it because I want to learn the art of rifle shooting. I don't just want,
how much is it? I missed that.
Anywhere between like 1,600 to 1,100, just depending on what model you get.
That's a weird way to say that. You went with the higher number first. Usually you start with the lower.
Because I had to scroll down, so I remembered 1,600, and then I had to think back to 1,100.
Okay, no, that's fine. My kids do that all the time to me, and I'm like, "What? Wait, what?"
Yeah, but if it's decent,
millennial thing.
Yeah, if it's decent glass and it has this technology, like is 1,100 too much? No, it's really not. Like
no, that's so. Basically, this is.
But you can't have the technology and decent glass and $1,100.
That's.
But what you can have. And this is the electronic equivalent of having a custom etched glass to a hand load. So if you have a rifle set up with a hand load and you can give a scope manufacturer the actual data for your hand load and how it actually performs, they can custom etch glass to where you have a BDC that is tuned to your hand loads to that rifle.
Yeah.
And this just does it electronically.
Yeah.
This is, you can change it on the fly willy-nilly.
Yeah, so like I don't want this because I want to go to Whole Foods. Like I don't want to go to Dollar General, right? Like I don't want the cheap and easy way out.
Wait, Dollar General sells food?
Dude, they sell tons of food.
They do. It's like they sell the cheapest milk that I've ever seen in my life.
That makes me nervous.
Does it taste okay?
Yeah, it's totally. It's from the same cow that I'm sure whatever creamery down the road was using.
Okay.
We don't have.
Actually, last year at NRA.
I live in a town with no chain anything.
I drove to his town once, and I took the back roads, and every little town had a Dollar General except his. Mm-hmm. It was weird. I'm like, oh, I must hit a new town because there's another Dollar General.
Did I tell you Dollar General called me asking me if they could lease part of my property where my range is for a Dollar General?
Oh, that's hilarious.
No.
I told them to off.
That's where they're going to come in and they're going to put you out of business. They're going to have like dollar range.
No ventilation, no backstop.
Yeah, everybody gets lead poisoning. It'd be great.
No problem whatsoever.
Lead poisoning if I could save some money.
Exactly.
It puts a little lead in your pencil, huh? Right?
So, Joe, any good guns or gear that you got recently? You said the PTR, but anything else you got that you're excited about?
I got the PTR. I got 2 PTRs. Actually, the the Eagle Imports, the little Bursa, Slimline 9mm threaded barrel gun.
Really?
Yeah. We've got one of those. It's a single stack gun, holds 9 rounds. with a threaded barrel. I think MSRP is around $300. Bang for the buck. It goes really well with our little 9mm K. A little bitty can, suppresses really well. That's kind of neat. I'm enjoying that little gun a little more than I probably should. But I've always liked the Bersa stuff, especially the threaded barrel thing. I was really hoping to see some cool stuff coming out of NRA, but I don't know if it's being held or what's going on. I don't know. Optics-wise, the Hollow Sun Ks are really exciting. Really looking forward to those. We got the footprint and the technical data package on it, but I've yet to put my hands on one so we can see if our cuts are on there. So those are upcoming. We're doing a lot of RMR cuts, so trying to get all these little new optics and things to make sure we have compatible cuts and things. And then just the new suppressor technology, moving that, something like the JMax stuff and the Sons of Liberty Nox stuff, the dead air compatible stuff. It's really exciting to see more open source, I guess, type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think that's all licensed stuff, but it's kind of like an open license, like M-Lock is. Or, hey, you want to use it? Do it. Don't f it up. As long as you don't f it up, you can use it.
Which
let's see how it goes.
I think that's nice because, people could take these designs and patent them and, charge huge licensing fees. But I am glad to see that people are kind of doing more, even if it's not open source, just at least like available to the community type stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're shooting 300 AAC Blackout and not 300 Whisper.
That's absolutely the truth. Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you froze or not.
No, I was just reading the news.
Oh, hey, I got a question, Aaron.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's actually, so that's the Burris Eliminator scope.
Okay, that doesn't look bad.
Yeah. Oh, this is way better than the other one.
That is pretty good.
Anyway, that's a ballistic drop compensator, an automatic one. But that's not what I was bringing up here. But that's what I've seen. The Burris Eliminator is always been there. But the question was on the Recover Tactical guys.
Yeah.
So apparently he's the lead designer.
Okay, so
his name is Tamir Porat.
Yeah,
is he related to Elon Porat?
I don't know, but I will say that his name is on like every freaking part. Right here, designed by Tamir Porat. And there was another piece that, like, it was tiny, but literally it had it engraved. It was, like, designed by Tamir Porat.
So one of the guys, I think maybe Fab Defense, really, really nice guy, real knowledgeable. His name was a Porat, too, and I'm just wondering if there's some relation there.
Interesting. Both Israeli companies.
Yeah. As soon as you said an Israeli company, I'm like, well, that makes sense of why they're available and actually a legit, decent looking product that's injection molded for a decent price.
Well, Porat's like Smith in Israel.
I was just going to make that joke.
I don't know.
Okay.
I was going to make that exact same joke. Aaron, we're on the same wavelength, buddy.
We are. We're there.
Oh man,
I was going to say, a Savage. You know what my HTN does that those SIG scopes don't do?
What?
Lets me see in the dark.
That's true. That is a big advantage of the ATN.
Savage has an ATN.
I do like that one. I have one too, yeah.
Savage.
Hey, does SIG have a ballistic laser for range finding?
No, it's got a thing where you have to have known size targets. So say take a deer or something, and you can measure the top part of the deer and the bottom part of the deer.
That sounds
with like two arrows.
I bet you if you look back into it, I bet you they license some of the Burris Eliminator technology.
Could be.
Maybe every deer the same height?
I mean, they'll give you like the average height or the average man height. You can get
that's enough to miss, dude. What if they looking at me and they think it's you?
They're going to hit you in the
mile. They're going to drop it 400 yards short.
Oh gosh, here we go.
What you gonna do now? Talk about lifestyles. Aaron, what you gonna do now? Talk about lifestyles. Brought to you by Brownells.
All right, Brownells.com. I was literally just looking for ammo today. They had 9mm in stock. I was like, "Oh, hey, should we order some?" And then it was out of stock. So you gotta strike fast. Don't ask, just do.
Yes, the answer is always yes.
The answer is always yes.
Do I need those two guns? Yes.
Yes, without question. That is the answer. I ordered a lapping tool for an AR-10 from Brownells today. That's what's kind of cool. Because we're gonna do some accurizing on my 6.5 Creedmoor AR because we're getting the new Swamp Fox Optics Warhawk in, and I wanted to do some accurizing on it. So needed a lapping bar and all that good stuff. So we're gonna do that. And I love being able to go to like one place, and Brownells is that. And yeah, just all kinds of stuff. Like anything I need pretty much. When I need lapping compound or any kind of other like gunsmithing liquid, they've got it. So go check out Brownells, constantly restocking stuff because it is like the gun apocalypse right now. Like it is nuts, but they've got all kinds of stuff and they're putting stuff back in stock every single day. So go check them out. Brownells.com. Aaron, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to talk about schematics and that you can find basically any gun schematic you're looking for at Brownells. But go ahead, Sean. You were going to say something?
I was going to say, dude, this is like one of my secret weapons. And it's so good. They have a ton of like I don't know, just parts diagrams for just about anything you could want. And I use these actually. I actually download and print these often.
I was actually looking at the MP5 and checking out all the little bits and pieces.
Yeah, so you could explain roller to
checking out all the over engineering of all the little bits and pieces.
There were some weird springs in there, man. I was like, what? It was like it looked like a V, but then it had like a little W's on the end. I'm just like, what? Okay.
Oh, that's the spring for the extractor. That holds the extractor in.
Yeah. I'm like, that's over. That's okay. But no, actually, what I want. Have you guys seen Waco yet? On
yes,
Netflix?
I just finished it last night at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
All right. How angry were you afterwards?
Pissed.
Right.
So I went to the Wikipedia page at 2 a.m. and I was like, these. But it turns out that, like, I think the real story is somewhere in between. Like, both sides are complete.
All right. So I remember. This is what I remember before watching.
Only one set of people that died. So
that's very true. That's very true.
Well, they did kill 4 agents, but rightly so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also true.
That was self-defense.
So when I remember as a kid when this whole thing went out before I watched the movie,
You were not a child.
I wasn't that old.
When he was a child, when this actually happened.
He was still like in his 50s.
Shut up. Anyhow,
When were you born?
74.
When did this happen?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What year?
You were 20.
Was I really?
You were a man. You had bills.
This was the 90s.
Yeah, I graduated in 92.
It was 93.
Yeah.
So I was 18.
This was the year that my
19
son's.
years old. You were a grown man when I was a child. You.
This
Dude,
was
if I look at a 19-year-old now, they're a child.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So
But you are an adult. The problem is
Legally adults. Legally adults.
Yeah, we were legally an adult when this happened.
okay. So I remember this is what I was told.
I wasn't.
That the ATF came to serve a warrant and they shot at him. And then when they threw the tear gas in, there was a bunch of kerosene spread all over the floors everywhere, and that's why the place burnt down. But watching this video, it was kind of different.
Yeah, so it's based on 2 books. One was by the Gary hostage negotiator, yeah, and the other was the David Thibodeau, Nirvana dude from the inside, and the movie was kind of based on both of them, which is why they're both clearly the heroes of the story.
Well, they were both actually consultants on the film.
Yeah,
on the show.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. You can clearly tell because they are certainly, without question, heroes. But yeah, like I don't know. I came out somewhere in the middle just because it was so crazy. I was mad. I'm still kind of mad.
I firmly believe that the only reason the ATF went after them was for the pictures of them with the kids. Although I want to know when abused children started becoming the purview of the ATF.
I saw that as well, and I was like, that's f***ing nuts.
But that being said, I mean, all of it adds up. Clinton talking about getting rid of the ATF, rolling it into the FBI. All that was actually going on, especially after Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is the same HRT dude that f***ed up Ruby Ridge.
And that might have been just for ease of.
No,
I don't know.
I looked it up.
The same guy.
I f***ing looked it up. It's true.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, then I firmly believe like 95% of what happened.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, it cannot. That has to be like some kind of plot device or something. Nope.
Right.
Straight up, same dude, Ruby Ridge and Waco.
Yeah. I always remember Janet Reno being more involved in it when I was 20 years old. Like she gave the order, she was like hands on.
Yeah.
But according to this, she was like pretty much in the dark.
I mean, you firmly believe like you shoot 4 federal agents, I mean, they're just you just return fire after they just blew away a couple of people that you knew, and then you're like locked in a bunker. Are you really going to trust that you come out with a fair shake?
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
That they're not just going to lie their asses off to cover their own asses? Like, why wasn't dude, agents should have gone to jail if it went down half of what that show was.
I mean, when they were talking about like the FBI said they didn't shoot from the helicopter, and then they're like, well, but this person got shot through the ceiling. You can obviously tell, like that. It was like, wow, And what the? How does no one have a radio? No one had communications.
And then they go back to the end where they're like, this time, LA police SWAT used tear gas, caught the building on fire. Use this time, use tear. Like, if all that is true, yeah, how could you even believe if tear gas is catching? And I get it, CS gas. It requires, CS gas. There is a
combustible factor.
Well, they use flame to light it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
tear
they're-
gas do too in a lot of cases.
What's that?
The tear gases do in a lot of cases too.
Yeah, there is a flammable aspect to. Now, the way they had it with the. Here's one thing I don't understand. Why didn't that sheriff make the FBI leave?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't carry a handgun. That's why.
But he has the power. The sheriff has the power to tell the FBI to kick rocks.
I'm sorry. He doesn't have a handgun. He doesn't have any power.
Oh, that's true.
But no, you're right. Like this whole thing, I was so shocked. I immediately had to like go start researching it and be like, wait a minute, this is not what I remember.
Yeah.
Koresh, like, dude was a cult leader to cult leader. Dude was weird. But
Yeah.
A little bit rapey too.
yeah, he's a lot rapey.
It's not rape. They did it willingly.
But what did he marry?
but
A
if
14-year-old?
not old enough to consent.
Yeah.
Oh, the parents in Texas, and like the whole thing about like automatic weapons in Texas, legal with a.
That was one thing that I caught on the show. They're like, while automatic weapons are illegal, it is legal with a $25 fee license. And I'm like, all right, you're off on a couple. Like it's 93, it's not 83. If it was 1983, and you said $200, we'd be right with you. But you're not in the right realm here.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, we declare prima nocta, but I don't know. We're not marrying like 14-year-olds yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the way, I got that box, and I had to. So I'm watching Waco. Sean sends me this package. It's got some glasses in there,
It's a
bunch of
picture
stickers.
the package.
No, but it's got grape Kool-Aid in there. And my youngest is like, oh, can I drink this? And I'm like, no, it's for when the time. And he's like, what do you mean? And my oldest is like, well, yeah, my oldest is also like, what do you mean? I'm like, Jonestown, and he's like, I don't understand. I'm like, go Google it.
Go put your Adidas on.
Right. then like we had this whole conversation about Heaven's Gate and, Jonestown and all these other cults, Manson family, everything that was just cultish.
That was a good box, right?
That was a great box, by the way.
Awesome.
It's sitting right next to me. I was going to wear the shirt, but I totally forgot about it till right now.
Oh, yeah. No, but yeah, now I want to go like watch more stuff about Ruby Ridge. Like, I already knew it was up, but yeah, like I was mad.
Wasn't like the son and he had a dog with him and they were out hunting and then the sniper dropped them both?
Yeah. Yep. And
Yeah.
then shot the wife.
Through the door.
Kid. Yeah. I think Randy Weaver's still alive and doing talks and stuff.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. I was so mad. Like, I've been watching it for like the last 3 or 4 nights, and last night.
Well, I'm a little disappointed in Randy Weaver.
Why is that?
Dude's fucking Delta, and he couldn't take out an HRT team.
Wait, was he Delta?
He was Green Beret.
I thought he was a Ranger.
Okay. Or no, sorry. I think he's Green Beret.
Green Beret.
He's Green Beret, and he can't, like, take out a couple of HRT guys. Like, I'm kind of disappointed.
I agree. Especially since how he knows the land and has, could have set everything up previously.
They had it pretty well surrounded, though.
Yeah, but he didn't take out any.
Yeah, because he wasn't a fucking criminal.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They wanted to frame him.
He was just a fucking dude. And yeah, I don't know. I want to put out to the audience, like, is there another like thing about Waco that I should watch that's going to like make me not so angry at the FBI?
And the ATF.
Yeah, the ATF.
Honestly, there should be a movie about the Oklahoma City bombing, because there's a lot of crazy shit that happened around that one.
I agree. I want to see that.
And the Oklahoma City bombing was directly attributed to things like Waco. And
Literally was.
Yep.
Joe, did you watch Waco yet?
I haven't. I was just like typing in the Alexa here to pull it up on the.
It's worth the watch.
And the first thing I saw was the little meme with the little manga girl chasing
Yes.
little dude. I was like, what in the hell are they talking about?
It was like Netflix chasing Waco.
ATF agent.
ATF, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I see it again, I'm like, all right, I know it's around the anniversary time, but what the hell does Netflix have to do with it?
Oh,
Because I'm in my own little world right now with like keeping everything going and new products, and then the tornado coming through and like wiping out half my yard and the fence, all other stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell does this Netflix have to do with the ATF? I'm like, are we going to this like some surreal world where like, everybody's against the ATF now? And I started
wish.
the thing, so I pulled
How
it up.
is that
on favorite.
surreal? Isn't
I got it set up to watch later.
well, don't forget, like ATF was at fault, right? But like the HRT dude was FBI. Like the guy who was just like pushing.
Hey, who hired that guy? What was it, LaRue?
I don't know. So
It was Troy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Troy Industries. Yeah, you don't hear about much from them anymore.
Wait, hired the sniper dude?
Yeah.
No.
The one of the consultants and apparently one of the dudes that like actually pulled the trigger.
Holy, yeah. Okay, so the sniper dude, that dude was also at both Ruby Ridge and Waco, and he's the one who accidentally shot Weaver's wife.
Common denominator here.
Two of them. Oh, dude, I was.
Yeah, and then Troy hires a guy for what was it, media relations or something?
Well, he was just going to shoot everybody accidentally.
I don't think that went as well as Troy thought.
No, it didn't. It didn't go well at all. I wonder which dude that was. So I did look for the HRT commander dude. I did find references that he was the guy behind that was definitely at Ruby Ridge and definitely at Waco, but I could not find his name.
Yeah, I also noticed that. I looked.
Yeah, I did too. I could not find it.
His name was Mitch Decker, so I Googled Mitch Decker and nothing comes up. Just it's the guy from the show.
Yeah,
and they don't. There's not that guy's actual name out there. At least that I found.
Search for Ditch Mecker.
Mitch Decker sounds like an adult industry.
Right.
No, that'd be Mitch Decker.
or Dick.
Show title.
No. You know how hard it'll come up for a picture for that?
So anyway, yeah, schematics at Brown Hills are awesome.
Pretty easy. You got all hub.
And f***ing Waco, what a travesty of justice.
Good watching, man. I mean, it's only like 6 or 7 episodes, so it's not that long, but it's like, and the thing too is, I didn't remember how many people survived or who survived, so I was like watching them. When I watched the show, I'm like, oh, he's probably, all these guys are probably dead when some of them lived.
Like 17 out of 93.
Yeah, but like that 17 number included a bunch of kids that were released early too.
True. I'm also not going to lie. I was like, I gotta study this Koresh guy. I got to see what he's up to because he's getting some good results.
That's a good pull here.
Exactly. Look, I'm just.
What manipulative techniques is this guy using?
I'm all about having the best cult that we can have. I got to learn from our betters. Oh man, it's time for Going Ballistic with Savage One Arts, where we talk about the news and kind of some of the stuff that's going on out there. And there is a ton going on. But first, I want to talk about Patriot Patch Company. Aaron, what was the most recent Patriot patch that you got in the box that I just sent you?
It was the Leprechaun one.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, so I've actually got your April one in there. Those are our patches. That's the COVID-19 pandemic veteran military operations patch.
You said patches, and then like the next thing I do is I scroll up on my Instagram, and it's there. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Right there.
Dude, we sold out of those in record time. I ordered a bunch more, and now we're just doing back order sales. And I think I might sell out of the back order sales as well. It's ridiculous.
It's a good place to be.
Yep, it is. It is. So Patriot Patch Company, they have the Patch of the Month Club. Aaron, your robot bunny will be in the mail. I usually wait till I have like a few things to send you, and then I send it, but it'll be there.
Awesome.
They're awesome. You can find them at patriotpatch.co, and coupon code WLS10 is going to save you money every single time you order. Savage, it's time for the news. I'm literally so mad about Waco right now that I'm like all tense and like calm me down. Calm me down.
You're not going to be any happier.
You got to calm me down, bro.
No, I can't. You're just going to rage quit after this one. It's not as bad as everybody thinks it is. So NYSRPA, what I've been harping on for the last however long it's been around, it's been mooted.
Yeah,
so it sucks.
The NYSRPA is
New York State Rifle and Pistol Association
versus New York City. And basically what happened is they had a case because nobody was able to transport firearms anywhere but between their house and to a gun range. And so it started making its way up the circuit courts and on its way to the Supreme Court. And all the way up the circuit courts, New York City had been arguing that it was perfectly constitutional and they were holding on to their case. Well, as soon as they made it to the Supreme Court, New York City realized that they'd done up, and they knew that it could not withstand a constitutional, any kind of scrutiny. So they went to New York State and had the state change the law, or it was actually a rule, but they rescinded the rule so that it would no longer be in conflict and therefore would be considered moot. So because of that took a lot of the wind out of the sails of the case. Now, the way they did it, it wasn't a complete what's it called? It wasn't a complete relief of the complainant, the people who were complaining about the issue, the petitioners. And you'll definitely know that when you read Alito's dissent. So this is a 34-page ruling of mootness. Out of that 34 pages, 31 pages are from Alito saying that this is all and that they should take the case up because obviously the people who are the plaintiffs, the petitioners, did not get all of the injunctive relief that they were hoping for because there were a lot of what ifs, like, what if we stopped by a friend's house or if we stopped somewhere else on our way upstate or to the range and we would still be in violation of the law. New York, in a previous argument, said that would be acceptable. So there was enough at the point where the Supreme Court felt that this case wasn't ideal to be able to take on at least the other judges. And one of the disappointing things is that Judge Kavanaugh, Golden Boy Kavanaugh, decided with the people saying that the case should be mooted, even though in theory he agreed with a lot of Alito's arguments. So, again, the wind got taken out of the sails when New York State decided to try and moot the case because it took away a lot of those reasons. However, don't freak out. And I know that there's people that are going to make the argument that, New York can just go ahead and reverse this case and, put the law back on the books. It's going to be a bit before they have to worry about that. And I don't think you need to think too hard about that situation right now, because Friday the Supreme Court is going to be hearing 10 cases, 9 or 10 cases that are on hold that are up next. And we're talking really good freaking cases. So the number one case, the first one is Pena Horan, which is the challenge to the California's safe handgun roster. If any of you are familiar with that, California has this ridiculous laundry list of factors that a handgun has to pass in order to be considered a legal handgun that can be sold in the state or a safe handgun. And one of those factors that is kicking a lot of these guns off the handgun roster is that all handguns have to be able to microstamp like a serial number, some kind of marking on the case. Did I get lost there?
No.
Sorry. So handguns have to be able to mark a serial number on the casing of the shell in order for them to be considered California legal. Well, that technology doesn't exist. This was the theoretical thing that the lawyers made up when they came up with this law, the Congress critters. It had never been put into practice. So it was basically a list that is going to be reduced down to absolutely nothing because of this impossible requirement by the law. So the courts are going to go ahead and see that, as well as a number of others. I mean, there's the Mans versus Barr, which is a challenge to the federal interstate handgun sale ban. There's going to be multiple New Jersey may issue carry laws that are being challenged. My favorite one, Warman versus Healy, which is challenging Massachusetts assault weapons ban. And there's also a couple of those. There's one in Illinois. There's just a bunch of these things that are going to go up in front of the Supreme Court. And the one thing that is differentiating these cases from New York, NYSRP versus New York City, is that none of these are mooted. NYSRPA, the state and city did everything they could to moot the case. All these 10 other cases, none of those states or cities are doing anything that would come close to or even consider mooting the case. So these are all very strong challenges on Second Amendment grounds. And I think that we'll have a much better case with one of these cases in getting the outcome that we want.
Yeah, I mean, we often hear like Kleckner, Kraut, all those guys, they've often said that, Supreme Court's going to select the case that they think is the right one, because generally they don't accept cases if they don't think that there's a good chance that it'll be overturned, right? Like, that's not the rule. That's just pretty common.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like, maybe this wasn't the right case. And because, New York did take that law or whatever out of play. Yeah, but I guess the thing that I'm most surprised about is that Bader Ginsburg is still alive.
Yeah.
Is she, though?
I don't know.
Her heart's beating.
Weekend the Ginsburgs?
Right, exactly.
I was looking for a new waffle machine about 3 weeks ago. I love waffles.
I love waffles.
I love waffles.
Doesn't love waffles?
I came across a Ruth Bader Ginsburg waffle machine.
Shut the up. That thing exists? That's the thing that happens?
Yes. I did not. I was like, wait, this can't be right.
I've got to look this up.
People using it? Hold on. I'm getting there.
That is amazing. Is it just like I don't even know what to think.
All right.
RBG, what is that?
Ruth Bader
what's that
Ginsburg.
No, what's that?
Thing. But wait, it gets better.
There's more?
There's definitely.
No, it's her face. It's her face.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, you will get her face on your waffle.
Wait,
that is insane.
Did you order that?
I almost bought one because it was like $12 cheaper than any other waffle maker that was on Amazon.
That is amazing.
It's pretty cheap.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, like all your waffles would just taste rotten.
Oh, just tastes like communism.
It'd be a terrible way to start your day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I just couldn't do it.
So
So I
yeah,
think I'm gonna get an old used Texas State waffle maker one.
that's
I
pretty
mean,
awesome.
you know what? It would be fun to just sit there and repeatedly stab a fucking like that'd be a good way to start the day.
It would be. I'd be in.
Or like every morning, make one pull. All right, I'm all about it.
How is there a Ruth Bader Ginsburg waffle machine?
I don't understand that actually. I also don't understand why Jeremy would mix like all the ingredients for waffles, cook a waffle, and then take it outside and shoot it with a shotgun.
Because I get to shoot. Because I get to shoot Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the face every day in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
All right. If anyone's shopping for me for Christmas, I would like an RBG waffle maker.
No, don't support. I'm sure she gets a royalty. Don't support that.
Oh wait, if that's true, forget it.
No,
sure
if she gets a royalty, isn't that the conflict of interest?
I mean, she's a lawyer, so I'm sure there's a contract that she's getting her a royalty.
That's true. That's true. Never mind.
If not, then she's a really, really bad lawyer.
Seems like a conflict of interest.
So speaking of waffles, so when the Corona apocalypse happened, I needed to get some syrup because I was like, oh yeah, we should have some.
Blue waffle syrup?
No, God, no. I was just like syrup. Like I want to go get some like Mrs. Butterworth's or whatever it is, and they didn't have any. So I ended up having to buy like a glass bottle of like some Maine like syrup, organic, and now like I'm because it's the best syrup I've ever had in my life, and I can never eat anything
Is it
else.
like Merrimack something?
Something like I don't remember exactly, but it's like a tiny ass, and it costs like $10 or $12, and it's in a glass bottle. And now I can never eat anything else because it's all just
Because
gonna seem
it's
fake.
actual maple syrup.
It's wonderful.
I actually prefer the cheap over the really expensive, like proper stuff.
So the FBI HRT agent that was in charge at both Waco and Ruby Ridge, thanks to Mike Island from the Reloading podcast on the Firearms Radio Network, is Richard Rogers. So Dick Rogers. That's the dude.
Sounds like a
Sounds like a total. Anyway, Savage, next story.
Next story coming up here. So, Freedom Week for California happened in a day. If you guys are like me, you're following YouTuber Reno May, who does a awesome job of covering everything California law related. And he's declared.
Hold on one second.
I guess this would have been
This Reno May guy. When
what?
No, hold on a second. No, I don't like this guy. That guy.
What?
Yeah.
He does a good job covering the laws.
No, because when High Point was doing their contest and I was like, let's name it the WLS9, and he like messaged me on Instagram and he's like, no, Yeet Can. And I was like, there's not a chance in hell that they will ever name it the Yeet Cannon. And now he throws it in my face all the time. That guy. No, he's actually doing awesome content. I watch his videos pretty often, actually.
Yeah. So he's declared this the Freedom Week, which is actually turned into Freedom Day 3.0 because 3.0 to ammo, 2 is the assault weapons, 1 the magazine. Anyways, he's got them categorized differently.
Yeah.
And
is your VPN on?
Function
you're like
against the law.
You're real spotty,
and
bro.
Then,
hello.
He just froze up like a.
You know.
No, we don't know.
Turn your video off. I don't know if it'll help. I just don't want to look at your face anymore.
I'm going to connect. Okay, turn the video off. Okay.
No. It's actually better now. But yeah, turn your video off.
Right. But he has issued injunction.
Yeah, it's broke again.
Yeah. So he issued the injunction, and the California, and within 7 hours of the filing, the
Savage, you didn't turn your video off.
Injunction, which is like, the wheels of justice turn ridiculously slow unless the state exactly, overnight virtually. So the citizens of California had exactly 24 hours to buy all the ammo they could and have it shipped out until the stay of the injunction went through and the background FFL to get these background checks. And it's crazy, the Ninth Circuit recognized the fact that the state's background check system has a 99.8 false positive denial rate for ammo purchases.
I saw that.
That is unacceptable. And what it came down to is that out of 600,000 people attempted to the fast check system, of those 101,000 people were denied the ability to purchase ammo who should not have been prohibited, only prohibited people, which comes around to 16% of all gun owners in California cannot buy ammo.
Okay, so I don't know what the you just said, little kid. He's gone, actually. But yeah, so here's the thing: is federal judge Robert Benitez basically said that the ammo stuff was unconstitutional, and that was great. And for like just 30 hours, I believe, Californians were able to order their ammo without doing the background checks. They were able to order online and do all that great stuff. The Attorney General of
it'll get overturned and the law will be
shut up,
shot down. And
shut
I think
up.
with the cases that we're seeing in front of the Supreme Court right now, one of the rulings on those, I'm willing to bet will help knock this down. It goes any farther forward, but
just mute him.
It was Freedom Day 3.0.
Can he not hear us?
It was Savage. Can you hear us?
Mute him.
He cannot hear us.
He can't hear us.
All right. So anyway,
I'm sorry. I have to hit play for some reason. I have to hit a play button on my screen to be able to hear you.
That's so weird.
What the?
It was like it was for 30 hours. The Attorney General, Becerra, I believe, or whoever his name was, he appealed to the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit basically put a stay on Benitez's order, and now it's going to be a crazy time. Savage, we heard like 17 words out of the 500 that you just said.
All right, you got it. You basically covered it. Fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's how you should do it.
There is context.
Words.
After 2 children were tragically shot and killed in Jackson.
Sorry, autoplay video. What's the next story?
Last story, and I'll be brief on this one. So the Jackson mayor and Jackson, Mississippi mayor, Chokwe Antar Lumumba.
What the?
I don't know. It's a really weird name. Executive order temporarily suspending open carry for Jackson residents in an effort to lessen the occurrence of violent crimes during COVID-19 civil emergency, because of course the people who are committing violent crimes are the people who pass the background checks in order to be able to conceal carry a firearm. If you've done any of the research, you know that the people who have. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
I don't feel like a mayor has that kind of authority.
No, they don't. It's completely illegal. But if you do any research, they've like Texas, and I think even Michigan did it. They found that the concealed carriers are the most law-abiding demographic in the country, and they're not the people shooting other people illegally. So it's like you're making it illegal for the legal people who would not be committing crimes. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't even believe what this mayor is doing. It's going to go against him pretty soon, I'm hoping, and there'll be some lawsuits for sure.
It's weird because the mayor's name is Chokwe Antar Lumumba. Didn't they do a song? Wasn't that him? Chumbawamba?
Chumbawamba, not Lumumba.
Oh, my bad.
As opening, the smaller the kingdom, the bigger the tyrant.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Many of these killings could have been avoided if we had state law that enables us to better control the presence of firearms on our streets, said Chumbawamba. Prior to the open carry law, when Jackson officers saw a gun in plain view, it gave them probable cause to cease the weapon, not seize, but cease, and determine whether it was an illegal weapon or not. Okay, so just having a firearm means you're a criminal. Wow.
Yeah, obviously. What a piece of
That's crazy. That's yeah. I mean, Jackson, Mississippi, not a small place.
No, not.
Well, for a major city, it's not that big.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. What a time to be alive. That's all I really got to say. It's time for reviews.
It's
Go ahead, Jeremy.
more politicians need to start getting shot in the face. That's all I'm saying.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
No, in real life.
No, in Minecraft.
Wait, who came up with the vote from the rooftop?
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Yep.
The recollection comes back.
Yep. You're like, wait a minute. This all sounds very familiar and inappropriate.
That patch needs to come back.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. Hold on. I'm going to take a note.
Zach has one and I don't, so that's mostly the reason why.
I don't think I have any, actually. I usually keep a couple behind, but that one sold so well that I just...
Which one?
The vote from the rooftops. That's right. Zach does have that one. All right. Time for reviews.
It's positively Derek. Positively POZ Derek.
This is brought to you by Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI.edu is where you can go. Whether you just want to do a full program or just a single course, whatever it is. If you have GI Bill, they have good stuff for you there. And again, SDI.edu. Let them know that We Like Shooting sent you. Jeremy, you've got the ad read. Or I'm sorry, you've got the review.
It's the same one as last week.
And Aaron. Read it again because Aaron.
Actually, this one is about Aaron. China Virus by Hillary is a Man, 5 stars. Hey, Aaron, don't delete my review. It's from this week. China Virus delayed roller blowback. China Virus robot media is the enemy. China Virus, nobody is social distancing. Just because you have to stay at home due to the governor you elected. Every time you go out, you are exposed. Stores are packed.
Aaron is supposed to take care of the show notes ahead of time. So Savage creates them. Aaron edits them to put in all of his stuff. But yeah, apparently he didn't. Let me see if there's any new ones. I'll double check real quick. And
I'm not that worried about it.
I'll put it in the show notes because Aaron.
Not that worried about it.
You just don't want to read them. I don't even remember actually. Okay. I don't remember where to look up the reviews. So, you know what, Karen, I think that's really what we have to go on here. And, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Let's start to wrap this up. WeLikeShooting.com/giveaways where you can go to enter our giveaways. We have the DigiTrigger and WLS swag pack up right now. That ends tomorrow night. So by the time this comes out on podcast, it'll be over. But if you're watching live, you can get your entries in. There's been a ton of entries on that one, so that one's going to be fun. And there's a place you can go. It's WeLikeShooting.com/ Wait, that's not right at all. Where the fuck are like half the show notes here? God damn it, Aaron. Love WLS. That's the URL. You can go LOVEWLS.com. You can buy a swag like this hat that I'm wearing, this shirt that I'm wearing. You can find our sponsors, their coupon codes, links to the website, so you can save money on all the cool stuff that you buy. You can find our Rooftop Rewards program, and most importantly, join the Gun Cult so that when we have our Waco, you'll be right here next to us, beside us, being burned alive like they did.
I'm getting more than 4 of them, though.
Can we have tropical punch Kool-Aid this time?
Tropical?
Yeah, tropical punch.
All right. Is it good?
Yeah, it's way better than grape.
Okay. I'm actually fine with that. All right. Tropical punch. I'm taking
Here's one thing about all that. You know, I know the people stuck in that compound weren't the world's biggest.
How?
Because if I got a ton of firearms and you're blasting goddamn speakers in the middle of the night and keep my children awake, I'm going to shoot at some speakers.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that part was just like, they were like, that seems awful to me. And I'm surprised they didn't shoot because clearly they had. I wonder, do you remember the big fat dude with the beard who literally shot several agents and then Koresh kicked him out because he drank a little liquor? Like, that's never going to happen in our cult. I just want you guys to know. Never going to happen. Anyway, join the Gun Cult at theguncult.com. That's where you can do that. Joe, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Remind everyone where they can find you.
AklisDefense.com. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Aklis Defense. AKLYSDEFENSE.
And what about people that live in Louisiana?
Come on, see us. Come on by Mo Guns and Ammo. Home of Aklis Defense.
We are, as soon as travel restrictions are, well, there's no travel restrictions. As soon as like everything just straightens up just the tiniest bit, we're coming out. So,
Nolens?
yeah, we're coming out to Nolens. We'll be there soon. I definitely can't wait. But yeah, Aklis Defense. Check out the suppressors they make. The suppressors and lowers.
Lifestyle gear, shirts, muzzle brakes.
Everything.
We have the ZK22 stock in stock. Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yep, definitely go check them out. Join a gun-related advocacy group. Definitely the New York Rifle and Pistol Association was a tough case for the Supreme Court to render moot today. But look, I mean, it's still important. Firearms Policy Coalition, we had Matt LaRosier on recently, and I'm impressed with FPC, with Adam Kraut and Matt and all their entire legal team. I think they're doing great work. GOA or SAF are the other ones that I talk about. But honestly, right now, like, my money's going to FPC. We always give out the suicide prevention line. The number is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or you can text the number 741-741. We're here live every week on Mondays and Wednesdays, but we're on demand every single day on the internet. Go to WeLikeShooting.com/show to subscribe to everything. And as we always say, thanks for listening. Get some medical training. And Savage?
Shoot straight! All right, so I have 3 possible show titles. I've got Tropical Punch, Panicdemic, and Casual Vomit.
I like
Casual Vomit. Joe, you vote.
What were the 3 options again?
Tropical Punch, Casual Vomit, and Panicdemic.
I like the Panicdemic. That's a really good title. It illustrates, like, not the last week, but the previous 2 weeks.
That's true. Jeremy? Jeremy doesn't give a
I don't give a
No given whatsoever. Thanks, Jeremy, for your vote.
Nope.
What's the other one that you got voted for?
Did you think that show was worth $1? Help the cast by visiting lovewls.com.